watched my sister-in-law try to move into my house through a security camera while I was sitting in a budget meeting at work. That's not how I thought my Tuesday would go. But there she was on my phone screen, Amber, my husband's sister, walking through my front door with her deadbeat husband Jason, carrying boxes and bags like they owned the place. They didn't own the place. I did. And they were about to find that out the hard way. Let me back up. My name is Quinn. I'm 35, and I work as a financial director at a corporation downtown. It's the kind of job where you live in spreadsheets and budget meetings, where every dollar has to be accounted for, where one mistake can cost the company millions. I'm good at what I do. The pay reflects that. But more importantly, I learned early on how to save, how to invest, how to plan for the future I wanted. From the time I was 22, every bonus went into savings. Every raise got invested. Every extra dollar had a purpose. My friends thought I was insane. While they were buying new cars and taking trips to Europe, I was watching my accounts grow. Because I had a goal. I wanted to buy my dream house. Not just any house, my dream house. The one I'd been picturing since I was in college. And I wasn't going to settle. 13 years. That's how long it took. 13 years of discipline and sacrifice and saying no to things I wanted in the moment so I could say yes to what I wanted forever. This spring, I finally did it. I bought my dream house. 3 bedrooms. Modern kitchen. Hardwood floors throughout. But what I'm most proud of. My office with a smart home system that controls everything from the lights to the temperature, and the indoor terrace surrounded by high walls where I can sit with my coffee in complete privacy. The house is registered in my name. I bought it with my money, my savings, my investments that I'd been building since before I even met my husband. Yeah, my husband. Ryan. We'd been married for 5 years. He works in business consulting, travels constantly, Boston, Chicago, wherever his projects take him. We'd gotten used to the distance. Or at least, I thought we had. Ryan has a sister named Amber. She's 32 and married to a guy named Jason. Jason calls himself a travel blogger, which is a nice way of saying he doesn't have a real job. He posts photos online, talks about his adventures, but I've never seen actual income from any of it. Amber works occasionally, but she's never held a job for more than a few months. Different excuses every time. The boss was mean, the hours were too long, the work was beneath her, always something. The result? They're always broke, always asking family members for money. Always one crisis away from disaster. And I'd been enabling it. For the last few months, I'd been paying their rent. They'd call, crying about how they couldn't make the payment, promising they'd pay me back soon. I knew they wouldn't. But I did it anyway because Ryan asked me to. Because they're family. A few weeks ago, there was a series of break-ins in my neighborhood. 3 houses got hit in 2 weeks. The police increased patrols, but I wasn't taking chances with my dream house. I installed a full security system. Alarm, 5 cameras, front door, back door, living room, driveway, and 1 watching the street. The whole thing connected to my phone so I could check anytime. I gave spare keys to a few relatives for emergencies. My parents had a set. Ryan's parents had a set. And Ryan obviously had his own. I meant to tell everyone about the new security system. But work got busy and it slipped my mind. That oversight was about to change everything. Last Tuesday, I was trapped in a quarterly budget meeting. You know the kind, the ones that drag on for hours while people argue about allocations and projections that could have been handled in an email. I was half listening when my phone buzzed. Break-in detected. Front door. Duplicate key used. My heart stopped. I grabbed my phone and opened the camera app. The video feed showed Amber and Jason walking into my house like they owned it. Amber was carrying shopping bags. Jason was looking around, nodding like he approved of my furniture placement. They just walked in. Using a spare key I didn't give them. 30 seconds later, the alarm went off. Even through my phone, the sound was deafening. I watched Amber cover her ears and Jason frantically looking around like he could make it stop by panicking hard enough. They didn't know the shutdown code. Of course they didn't. I'd never given it to them because I'd never invited them into my house. The security company's automated voice came through the system on speakerphone. This is home security. Please state the name of the homeowner and the security phrase. Jason was yelling over the alarm. I don't know the phrase. This is my brother Ryan's house. The system has notified the police. Please remain where you are. I switched to the street camera. There was a small moving truck parked in my driveway. The back was open, and I could see furniture inside. Actual furniture. And moving boxes. They weren't visiting. They were moving in. I sat there staring at my phone while people around me debated line items. Amber and Jason were trying to move into my house without asking me. Without even telling me. They just decided they could live there because they couldn't pay their own rent anymore. I excused myself from the meeting and went into an empty conference room. My hands were shaking as I called the police non-emergency line. This is Quinn Everett. I received an alert that police were dispatched to my address. I need to confirm what's happening. They transferred me to Officer Murphy. He asked the obvious questions. Did Amber and Jason have permission to be there? Did they know they were coming? Did I give them permission to live in my house? No. No. And absolutely not. I did not know they were coming. I did not give permission. They broke into my house without my consent. Officer Murphy said they'd been detained for trespassing and that I needed to come down to the station to give a statement. Then I called Ryan. He was in Boston for a conference. The phone rang 4 times before he picked up. Hey, what's up? Background noise, voices, laughter. Your sister and Jason just broke into our house. They used a spare key and walked in with a moving truck. Pause. Then Ryan said, oh yeah, I knew about that. I'm sorry, what? Amber called me last week. Jason got fired and they got evicted from their apartment. I told her they could stay with us for a while. I was going to tell you, but it's not a big deal. We have a spare room. Not a big deal. My voice was rising. They broke into my house, Ryan. They brought furniture. They were moving in without telling me. You're overreacting. They're family. It's fine. They've been arrested for trespassing. You called the cops on my sister. His voice went loud. Are you serious right now? I didn't call them. The security system did it automatically. Well, fix it then. Tell them it was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. They broke in. This is ridiculous, Quinn. You're making this into something it's not. I realized right then that he wasn't going to see my side. He wasn't going to support me. He was defending his sister who just invaded my house. I have to go, I said, and hung up. I sat there trying to process everything. Then I called Ryan's mother. She answered on the first ring. Hello, Quinn. Did you know Amber and Jason were moving into my house today? Yes, I knew. Her voice was calm, matter of fact. I'm the one who told them to move in with you. You have a big house with several rooms. They needed a place to stay. We're family, Quinn. Family helps each other. There's no need for all these formalities. Formalities. Like asking permission to live in someone's house. They broke in. The police are there. Her tone changed immediately. You called the police on them. Are you trying to give them a criminal record? Do you know what that could do to their future? They broke into my house, I repeated. I didn't call the police. The security system did it automatically. You should fix this. Tell the police it was a misunderstanding. Don't make this into something bigger than it needs to be. I'm not fixing anything. They had no right to enter my house without permission. She started saying something else, but I hung up. I couldn't listen to another person tell me I was wrong for protecting my own property. I went back to the meeting, but I couldn't concentrate. I kept thinking about Amber and Jason in my house, about Ryan knowing and not telling me, about his mother encouraging them to just move in without asking. An hour later, my phone rang again. Amber. I stepped out and answered. Before I could say anything, she started screaming. The police treated us like criminals. The whole neighborhood was watching. People were laughing at us. Do you know how humiliating that was? I turned on my phone's voice recorder. I had a feeling I'd need this conversation documented. You broke into my house. I had a key. Ryan gave us permission. His mother gave us permission. We had every right to be there. You didn't have my permission. You set a trap for us. You put that alarm there on purpose to make us look bad. I installed security because there were break-ins in the neighborhood. I didn't know you tried to move in without telling me. Then Amber said something that made my blood run cold. I want $15,000. I stopped walking. What? $15,000 for humiliation and emotional damage. You embarrassed us in front of the entire neighborhood. You owe us. Something inside me snapped. All the months of paying their rent. All the times they'd asked for money. All the excuses and complaints. And now she was demanding more money because I wouldn't let her steal my house. You'll be talking to my lawyer from now on, I said, and hung up. I stood in the hallway trying to calm down. Then I called my friend Samantha. She's a real estate lawyer. We met in college and stayed close over the years. I need legal advice. I told her everything. The break-in, the moving truck, Ryan giving permission without asking me, his mother encouraging it, Amber demanding $15,000. Samantha was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "This isn't a family dispute. This is a violation of property rights. What they did was housing invasion, and Amber demanding compensation could qualify as extortion. What should I do? Go to the police station. File an official statement. Bring that recording of Amber demanding money. Get copies of the security footage. Document everything. Ryan's going to be furious. Ryan let his sister break into your house. Your safety and property rights are more important than his feelings." She was right. I knew she was right. I took the rest of the day off work and drove to the police station. Officer Murphy was there, an older man with gray hair and a kind face. I showed him the security footage. I played him the recording of Amber demanding $15,000. He listened to the whole thing, his expression getting more serious as Amber's voice screeched through my phone speaker. "You did the right thing coming here. We'll issue a warning to stay away from your property. If they violate it, there will be consequences. I'm worried about my safety. They have family members who might try to come to the house. We'll make note of that in the report. Keep your security system active. Call us if anyone shows up." On the way home, I checked my phone. 15 missed calls from Ryan. 10 text messages. All variations of the same thing. "Call me back. This is serious. You need to withdraw the police report. My sister can't have this on her record." Not one message asking if I was okay. Not one message concerned about me. Just demands to protect his sister. When I got home, I went straight to my office. I opened my desk drawer and pulled out a folder I'd been keeping for months. Inside were divorce papers. Blank divorce papers I'd printed but never filled out. I printed them the day Ryan withdrew almost $30,000 from our joint account without telling me. He'd given it to Amber to cover one of her debts. When I confronted him, he said it was from our shared money, so he had every right to use it. I was furious, but he refused to see the problem. That's when I printed these papers and hid them in my desk. Now I took them out and started filling them in. My name, Ryan's name, all the details. Every line carefully completed. I knew what was coming. Ryan would rush home. He'd be angry. He'd blame me for everything. And I was going to hand him these papers and end this marriage. I'd married him thinking we were partners. But partners don't let their family invade your home. Partners don't prioritize their sister over their wife. Partners don't steal money from joint accounts to give to their siblings. I finished the forms and put them in a clean folder. Then I sat on my terrace and waited. Ryan came home that night around 9. I heard his car pull into the driveway. He didn't park normally, just stopped the car and left it there, door slamming loud enough for the neighbors to hear. He walked in without knocking, his face red with anger. "What the hell did you do?" I was sitting on the couch with the folder next to me. "I protected my property." The police gave Amber a restraining order. "She can't come within 500 feet of this house." Do you know how humiliating that is for her? She tried to move into my house without permission. She brought a truck full of furniture. She demanded $15,000 from me. She's family. You should have talked to me first. You knew they were coming and didn't tell me. You gave them permission to move into my house without asking me. This is my house, Ryan. My name is on the deed, not yours. His face got redder. We're married. What's yours is mine. No, I said. This house was bought with money I saved for 13 years before we even got married. It's registered in my name alone. You have no claim to it. You're being ridiculous. They just needed a place to stay temporarily. I picked up the folder and pulled out the divorce papers. Our marriage is over. He stared at the papers like he couldn't believe what he was seeing. You're divorcing me over this. I'm divorcing you because your concept of family and my concept of decency will never work together. I'm choosing my safety and my dignity. He grabbed the papers from my hand, looked at them for a moment, then threw them on the floor. Fine. You want a divorce? You'll get one. And I'm taking half of everything. Good luck with that, I said. He went upstairs. I could hear him throwing things into bags, drawers slamming, closet doors banging. He came down 20 minutes later with 2 suitcases and a box. I'll be back for the rest of my stuff. Call first. You don't live here anymore. He left, making sure to slam the front door as hard as he could. I watched through the window as he loaded his car and drove away. Then I sat down on the couch and took a deep breath. It was done. The marriage was over. And I felt relieved. The next morning, I called a locksmith. He came out within 2 hours and changed every lock in the house. Front door, back door, garage door. New keys, new codes for the keypad. I kept one set for myself and gave one set to Samantha. Then I called my security company and upgraded everything. Maximum security level. Motion sensors on every window. Additional cameras. And I removed Ryan and his parents from the emergency contact list. I put Samantha's name and number instead. After that, I went through my phone and blocked Ryan's number, then Amber's, then his parents'. I deleted all their contacts. Blocked them on social media, on email, everywhere I could think of. I didn't want to hear from any of them ever again. The divorce process started a month later. Ryan hired a lawyer who immediately demanded half of the house. My lawyer, Samantha, filed a response citing state property laws. The house was purchased with my money and registered solely in my name. Under our state's laws, he had no claim to it. It took 3 months for the divorce to finalize. We had to go to court twice. At the final hearing, Ryan sat on one side of the courtroom with his lawyer. His parents and Amber were sitting behind him in the gallery. They all stared at me with pure hatred in their eyes. The judge reviewed all the documentation. The deed showing my sole ownership. The bank records showing the house was purchased with my savings. The prenuptial agreement we'd signed that clearly stated any property owned before or purchased individually during the marriage remained separate. The house remains the sole property of Mrs. Everett, the judge said. Mr. Everett has no claim to it. I saw Ryan's jaw clench. His mother put her hand over her mouth. Amber just glared at me. The divorce was finalized. We divided the joint bank account equally. He took his personal belongings. Everything else stayed with me. We had no children, no shared debts, nothing tying us together anymore. When I walked out of that courtroom, I felt lighter than I had in months. Maybe years. I'd been carrying the weight of that marriage, of Ryan's family, of their constant demands and drama. Now it was gone. I got in my car and drove home. My home. Just mine. I pulled into the driveway and sat there for a moment, looking at the house I'd worked so hard to buy. I'd done it. I'd protected what was mine. I'd stood up for myself. And I was free. Months passed. Life became surprisingly calm. I went to work, came home, had dinner, watched TV. Simple things. Normal things. No drama, no demands, no one trying to take advantage of me. I heard through one of Ryan's cousins what happened to them after the divorce. Ryan had been working on some big project in Europe, but after the scandal with Amber and the divorce, his company recalled him. They said if he couldn't manage his own family, how could he manage important projects? They removed him from key assignments. Eventually, he quit. He moved back in with his parents. And then Amber and Jason moved in too after they lost their apartment. 5 adults living in a 2-bedroom house. 2 retired people trying to deal with 3 unemployed adults. Jason never found another job. He kept talking about big opportunities, about deals coming through, about his travel blog taking off. But nothing ever happened. He just sat around posting photos online, waiting for success to find him. Amber couldn't hold down any job. She'd get hired somewhere, work for a few weeks, then quit because the hours were too long or the pay was too low or the work was beneath her. All their expenses were slowly draining Ryan's parents' retirement savings. I heard all this through Ryan's cousin, who felt bad about what happened and stayed in touch with me. She said the house was chaos. 5 adults fighting over the bathroom, over food, over everything. Ryan's parents looked exhausted all the time. I felt nothing hearing about it. Not satisfaction, not pity. Nothing. They'd made their choices. Now they were living with the consequences. After the divorce, I decided to stay away from relationships for a while. I didn't trust men anymore. Or maybe I didn't trust my own judgment. Either way, I wasn't ready to date. But 6 months after the divorce, Samantha sat me down over coffee. You've been through a lot. It might help to talk to someone professional about it. I didn't think I needed therapy. I felt fine. But Samantha kept pushing, so eventually I agreed to try it. The therapist's name was Dr. Park. She was in her 50s, calm and patient. I told her everything about the marriage, about Amber and Jason breaking in, about Ryan's betrayal, about the divorce. She listened to all of it without interrupting. Then she said, "You did everything right. You protected your home and your safety. You set boundaries. Those are healthy things to do. The people who should have protected you chose to side with the people who violated your space. That's not your fault." We talked for weeks about trust, about boundaries, about recognizing red flags in relationships. She helped me understand that not everyone was like Ryan. That I could find someone who respected me and my property and my decisions. You learned something valuable, she said. You learned how to set boundaries. That's going to make your next relationship stronger. After 6 months of therapy, I felt ready to try again. Not desperate to find someone. Just open to the possibility. I met Owen at a hospital fundraiser that my company sponsored. He was a surgeon, 42 years old, divorced with no kids. We started talking at the buffet table about the terrible music the DJ was playing and somehow ended up talking for 2 hours. He asked for my number. I gave it to him. We started dating slowly. Dinner once a week, then twice a week. He never pushed for more than I was comfortable with. He respected my space, my time, my decisions. After 3 months, I told him about Ryan and the break-in and the divorce. I watched his face carefully to see how he'd react. That must have been terrifying, he said. Having someone break into your home like that. You don't think I overreacted? Overreacted? You did exactly what you should have done. Your home is your sanctuary. Nobody has the right to violate that. That's when I knew he was different. He understood boundaries. He understood respect. He understood that family doesn't mean you get to do whatever you want. We'd been dating for about 4 months when something happened that made me laugh harder than I had in years. I came home from work one day and found an envelope in my mailbox. No return address, but I recognized the handwriting. It was from Ryan's mother. I opened it carefully, wondering what she could possibly want after all this time. Inside was a single sheet of paper with her handwriting covering both sides. The letter was incredible. She wrote that she'd been thinking about everything that happened. She wrote that she understood I might still be upset. And then, in the most absurd sentence I'd ever read, she wrote that she forgave me. She was allowing me to return to the family. To come back to Ryan. She said they could work things out, that families overcome obstacles, that I just needed to apologize for calling the police on Amber and everything could go back to normal. I stood in my kitchen reading this letter and I started laughing. I laughed so hard tears came to my eyes. The audacity of this woman. She forgave me. She was allowing me to return. I read the letter 3 more times, laughing harder each time. Then I took it over to my paper shredder and fed it through. I watched it turn into hundreds of tiny pieces, the words becoming unreadable confetti. I threw the shredded pieces in the trash and went to make dinner. That weekend, I told Owen about the letter while we were having brunch. He nearly choked on his coffee when I got to the part about her forgiving me. She forgave you. For what? For protecting my own house, apparently. He shook his head. That family is insane. Former family, I corrected. I have nothing to do with them anymore. Good. You deserve better. I did deserve better. I'd worked hard my entire adult life to build something for myself. I'd saved money, invested wisely, bought my dream house. And I'd protected it when people tried to take it from me. Now I had a life that was peaceful. I had a job I was good at. I had a house I loved. I had a man who respected me. And I had the knowledge that I could stand up for myself when it mattered. Sometimes at night I sit on my indoor terrace and think about everything that happened. About Amber and Jason breaking in, about Ryan's betrayal, about the divorce, about all of it. And I realize it was the best thing that could have happened. It showed me who people really were. It taught me to protect what was mine. It freed me from a marriage that would have slowly destroyed me. I look around at my house, my sanctuary, and I know I made the right choice. Because this place, it's mine. I earned it. I fought for it. And nobody gets to take that away from me. Thanks for listening, and if this story resonates with you, don't forget to comment and subscribe for more stories about standing up for yourself, protecting what's yours, and finding the strength to start over. Sometimes the hardest battles we fight are the ones that set us free.